The Lakers have finally revealed the long-awaited date for LeBron James' re-evaluation. Lakers fans have been anxiously waiting for updates on LeBron James, and now, we finally have some news. The four-time NBA champion and Lakers' biggest star has been recovering from a groin injury he suffered on March 8 during a game against the Boston Celtics. Since then, he's missed the team's last two matchups, including a crucial game against the Milwaukee Bucks on Thursday night. Leave your like and subscribe to the channel so you don't miss any updates. But just before tip-off against the Bucks, TNT's Jared Greenberg provided an important update. He reported that LeBron James is scheduled for a re-evaluation early next week, which means we'll soon have more clarity on when he might return to action. Expect a re-evaluation and update on LeBron early next week, Greenberg stated. This news offers a glimmer of hope for Lakers fans who have watched their team struggle in his absence. The timeline for LeBron's return remains uncertain, but one thing is clear: the Lakers desperately need him back. Since LeBron went down with his injury, the Lakers have not looked the same. They've lost both games without him, including a brutal 126-106 defeat against the Bucks on Thursday night. If the Lakers continue to struggle without LeBron, they could start falling in the standings quickly, and in the ultra-competitive Western Conference, every loss matters. So now, the biggest question remains: how soon can LeBron James return? With a re-evaluation set for early next week, fans are hoping to hear positive news. However, groin injuries are tricky, and the Lakers' medical staff will likely be cautious with their star player. LeBron has always been known for his resilience and ability to recover quickly, but at this stage of his career, the team will want to make sure he's fully healthy before bringing him back. The worst-case scenario would be rushing him onto the court too soon, only for him to aggravate the injury and miss even more time. Luka Doncic has been carrying a massive load, and while he has shown he can handle the pressure, he can't do it alone. The rest of the Lakers supporting cast needs to step up. If the Lakers continue to struggle, the pressure on LeBron's return will only grow. How long can they stay afloat without their leader? The Los Angeles Lakers and Dallas Mavericks stunned the NBA world when they completed a massive trade that sent five-time All-NBA first-team point guard Luka Doncic, along with key players Maxi Kleber and Markieff Morris, from Dallas to Los Angeles. In exchange, the Mavs acquired veteran All-Star big man Anthony Davis, 3 and D wing Max Christie, and a 2029 first-round draft pick, creating a massive shift in the NBA landscape. The deal also saw both teams send second-round picks from 2025 to the Utah Jazz. Additionally, the Lakers included second-year guard Jalen Hood-Schifino, who was immediately waived by the Jazz after the trade went down. This deal wasn't just about the headline players. There were multiple moving parts that made it all come together. ESPN insider Shams Charania recently shared the shocking behind-the-scenes story of how the trade was confirmed during an episode of The Young Man and the Three podcast. He explained the chain of events that led to the deal being announced, providing a look into how things unfolded for both teams involved. "I was just getting ready for my flight to Bristol the next morning," Charania recalled, reflecting on how he was preparing for work when the breaking news hit. "Then, at around 11:05 p.m., I got tipped off that something huge was happening between the Lakers and Mavericks." Charania explained how he was initially taken by surprise at the timing of the news. "What's crazy is, just a few days before that, on Wednesday, I'd heard that the Lakers and Mavericks were talking about a trade involving a specific player, but it wasn't the player who ended up being the centerpiece of the deal. That was a great smokescreen to throw off everyone." Charania's recount of the trade's behind-the-scenes process is a reminder of just how unpredictable the NBA trade landscape can be. For days, speculation swirled about a potential deal between the two teams, and it was clear the rumors leading up to the trade were nothing like the actual deal that went down. The fact that teams are able to keep such big moves under wraps until the last moment highlights just how much strategy and secrecy are involved in the business of professional basketball. Meanwhile, at a Texas conference, Mavericks owner Patrick Dumont addressed the significant backlash surrounding the trade. While many fans and analysts were outraged by the Mavs' decision to part with their franchise player, Dumont remained firm in his belief that the trade was necessary for the future of the franchise. "Making tough decisions is never easy," Dumont explained during his address. "Leadership requires assessing the risks, considering all factors, and making the right move at the right time." Dumont emphasized that part of the decision-making process was focusing on the long-term vision of the team. "You have to think about the future, not just the immediate reactions or what others may think in the short term." With the roster in flux and their playoff hopes hanging in the balance, Dumont was resolute in his belief that the trade was essential for building a competitive team in the years to come. Looking at our roster today, we believe we've positioned ourselves to be incredibly competitive moving forward, Dumont said, acknowledging the tough decisions that had been made to achieve long-term success. Despite Dumont's optimistic outlook, not everyone within the Mavericks organization agrees with the direction the team has taken. In a phone conversation with NBA insider Brandon "Scoop" B. Robinson, a source close to the Mavericks expressed frustration with how the trade was handled and the narrative that had been pushed by the front office. According to the source, there is a growing sense of disbelief within the organization over the decision to part with Doncic. "They really think we're all stupid," the source said, voicing frustration about the trade and the way it was justified to the public. The source pointed out the sheer absurdity of the situation, highlighting the fact that the Mavericks management seemed to be ignoring the undeniable facts about Doncic's performance. "We watch the games too," the source continued. "It's unbelievable that people are actually saying he didn't play defense. Luka played 41 minutes a game in the playoffs last year, 900 total minutes, and he averaged nearly 2 steals per game. And people still claim he doesn't play defense." The source's tone revealed just how deeply the decision to trade Doncic had affected those within the organization. While the trade has certainly raised eyebrows, it's important to note that just last season, the Mavericks posted an impressive 52-30 record and made a strong postseason run. With Luka Doncic and Kyrie Irving leading the charge, the Mavericks were able to advance to the NBA Finals, an impressive feat that had eluded the franchise since Dirk Nowitzki's legendary run to the 2011 championship. "I understand why Luka was frustrated during the finals," the source admitted, acknowledging that the Mavericks were up against a formidable opponent in the Celtics. Despite the disappointing loss in the finals, it's clear that the Mavericks were able to build a strong foundation over the previous season. Dallas ultimately fell to the Boston Celtics in 5 games, but the team's performance in the postseason showed that they were still a serious contender in the league. However, the source noted that the decision to trade Doncic wasn't necessarily about trying to fix last season's playoff failure. Besides Kyrie, they weren't going to match up against Boston well, the source said. So, they made the moves they did in the offseason to try again. They added Klay Thompson, the second-best shooter of all time, to the roster. This is a team that definitely could have competed in the West again, but the trade was made to change the direction of the franchise. The trade sent shockwaves through the league, and it's still unclear exactly how things will play out for both teams involved. While the Lakers gain a superstar in Luka Doncic, the Mavericks are betting on a future built around a different vision for the team. The long-term effects of this trade will play out over the next few seasons, but for now, all eyes are on the dramatic shift in both teams' fortunes. The Los Angeles Lakers are entering an exciting yet critical offseason, and one trade proposal has surfaced that could potentially solve their most glaring issue, the center position. After a tumultuous season with a series of roster moves and adjustments, the Lakers have made it clear that their top priority this summer is to find a consistent, reliable center to bolster their defense and complement their star players. The Lakers' center position has been a question mark ever since they traded away Anthony Davis. While Davis is undoubtedly one of the most dominant players in the league, his role as both a center and power forward left the Lakers with a huge gap in the middle of their lineup after his departure. With Davis gone, Los Angeles has struggled to fill the void left in their defense, particularly when it comes to rim protection, an area where Davis once excelled. In an attempt to remedy the situation, the Lakers tried to acquire Mark Williams through a trade, but that deal fell apart after the center was flagged for physical concerns during the medical evaluation process. This was a significant setback for the team, as they were hoping Williams could provide a defensive presence that could anchor their paint. Since then, Jackson Hayes has stepped up as the starting center. Hayes has had some solid performances, but he is still a work in progress, and the Lakers know they can aim higher. While Hayes is an energetic player, his lack of consistency has highlighted just how much the Lakers need a true, dominant center. The front court struggles have been evident, and the team's defense in the paint has suffered. For the Lakers to truly contend and make a deep run in the playoffs, addressing this position is a must. This off-season, the Lakers have made it clear that finding a center is their top priority. The team has expressed interest in both free agents and trade options, hoping to land a long-term solution at the position. While the market for centers in free agency is always competitive, the Lakers know they have assets to offer in a potential trade deal. One such trade proposal has caught the attention of fans and analysts alike. According to Bleacher Report, a potential deal could see the Lakers landing Walker Kessler, the young and talented center from the Utah Jazz. This proposal could address the Lakers' needs while providing the Jazz with a solid return for their efforts in the trade market. According to the proposal, the Los Angeles Lakers would receive Walker Kessler, while the Utah Jazz would receive Dalton Knecht, a 2031 unprotected first-round pick, and potentially other assets. Here's how it breaks down. Lakers receive C. Walker Kessler. Jazz receive SG Dalton Knecht, 2031 unprotected first-round pick. For the Lakers, acquiring Kessler would be a major win. He is one of the top shot blockers in the NBA today, known for his ability to protect the rim and alter shots around the basket. Kessler has already established himself as a key defensive force, which is exactly what the Lakers need. At just 23 years old, he still has a lot of room to grow and develop as a player, which makes him a valuable asset for a team like the Lakers, who are in the midst of transitioning into a new phase while still remaining championship contenders. Kessler is a perfect fit for the Lakers because he wouldn't need to be a primary offensive option. Instead, his focus would be on defense and rebounding, which are areas where the Lakers need the most help. This would make the Lakers a much more balanced team, especially on the defensive end of the court. At the same time, Kessler's lack of reliance on scoring would allow the Lakers to keep their offensive flow intact, utilizing him primarily as a rim protector and rebounder. His presence would create an overall stronger defense, both in terms of interior play and shot blocking. For the Utah Jazz, this trade is a bit more complicated. While Kessler is a key part of their rebuilding efforts, the Jazz are likely open to dealing him for the right offer. In return, the Jazz would get Dalton Knecht, a young guard who has shown promise, and the unprotected first-round pick in 2031, which could turn out to be a very valuable asset. Dalton Knecht, although not a huge name, has the potential to be a solid contributor in the NBA. He is a guard who can shoot and has shown glimpses of what he can do on both ends of the floor. While the Lakers have already explored trading Knecht, the Jazz could view him as a player who can add depth to their backcourt and potentially develop into a key piece of their team moving forward. The real value for the Jazz in this deal, however, is the unprotected first-round pick in 2031. By the time that pick conveys, the Lakers could be on the decline, particularly after LeBron James retires. The pick could end up being highly valuable, especially if the Lakers fall out of contention and the team has to rebuild. The Jazz could be in a prime position to get another high-quality prospect with this pick, which makes it an appealing asset for them to acquire. While this trade makes sense on paper, it might not be a simple deal to execute. The Utah Jazz are in the midst of a rebuilding phase and may be hesitant to trade away a promising young player like Kessler. The team has been focusing on stockpiling young talent, and Kessler is a key part of their future. Therefore, they might demand more than just Knecht and the first-round pick to part ways with him. The Lakers may need to add another asset or sweetener to make the trade more enticing for Utah. Moreover, there are other teams that might be interested in Kessler's services, so the Lakers will face competition in acquiring him. The market for young, talented centers is always competitive, and other teams might have more attractive offers. The Lakers will need to act quickly and be prepared to offer additional assets if they want to make this trade work. Kessler is currently averaging 11.5 points, 12.3 rebounds, and 2.5 blocks per game, making him one of the best young centers in the league. He has the potential to be a game-changer for the Lakers, both in terms of defense and rebounding. If the Lakers can pull off this trade, they would instantly improve their defense, especially in the paint, where they have struggled in recent seasons. Knecht, on the other hand, is averaging 9.2 points, 3 rebounds, and 0.9 assists per game, and while he has shown potential, he is still developing as a player. The Lakers clearly feel they have a surplus of guards and are willing to trade him for the right offer. The proposed trade for Walker Kessler would be a huge win for the Lakers. Not only would they address their biggest need at center, but they would also gain a young, talented player who can provide rim protection for years to come. While the Jazz may have reservations about giving up such a promising player, the potential return, particularly in the form of a future first-round pick, could be too good to pass up. For the Lakers, adding Kessler would make them a much more formidable team on both ends of the floor. They would be better equipped to compete with the top teams in the NBA, particularly in the Western Conference. The off-season will be critical for the Lakers, and this trade proposal could be the answer to their center dilemma. We'll have to wait and see if it comes to fruition, but the potential is certainly there.